My name is Anton, and today we're installing another dash cam, but this time on a K-truck. K-trucks are taking off. You've probably seen them in your neighborhood, maybe on the news. Today we're going to be talking about how to make them a little bit safer, as that tends to be one of the main concerns all in the news, lack of safety with installing a dash cam. We're going with a three-way dash cam, Redtiger's new F17 Elite. This thing comes with a whole bunch of bells and whistles.
Amen.
Has loop recording, has nighttime vision, Wi-Fi connectivity, all the bells and whistles. So if you're wondering how to combine the new with the old or the just plain foreign, let me show you. First, you want to start out by getting over on your driver's side, which again is our right side, right-hand drive, love it. Next, we want to get underneath our steering column. So underneath our steering column, we're going to have this piece of plastic. We're going to want to remove these two screws. There'll be two more in here. Screws will be Phillips head and they will look like this. So 4 screws, you just take, screw them out, and then once you do, you can just give a pull and it comes right off. That's what it looks like. Boom. And then you're left with your steering column, your ignition interlock, and some wiring. You may see a few extra wires here with me because I wired other things into this truck. For example, she has an aftermarket tachometer. I wired it in because I just like to know my RPMs. There's my little aftermarket tachometer. Now I already had a dash cam in here. I was running a Vantor two-way dash cam that I've had for the longest time. And that dash cam did not fail. That dash cam worked well, but I wanted to upgrade to a three-way dash cam because I've had some good success with it. So out with the old, not that it was in any way bad, and in with the new, our Redtiger F17 Elite. Nice big screen, inside camera and outside camera, both adjustable heads. And here, 2 USB-C, one for power and one for your rear camera. Let's dive into it. First thing that we're gonna need to do, because as I was saying, I already had a dash cam in here. It was wired in nice and neat. We gotta extract that. So that's why you see everything already taken apart. I opened up that bottom piece. I'm getting into the wiring for my dash cam. That dash cam, I had a hardwire kit on it, so it was fed into the fuse box. So first of all, to uninstall, we disconnected our power cable. Another privilege of the K-truck is you do not exactly have comfortable working ankles. So whatever you have, use it. Here we go, boom. All right, we got that guy off. We'll fish it out through here. God, this was a crazy path. I'm gonna repeat it. I love just doing work by feel. How did I do this initially? Out with the olds. Now it's official. It's a real shame I would have reused it, but it's a different USB. And because of that, we got to redo the whole thing. Now our new unit, we're gonna place up here also. Unfortunately, this adhesive mount is not gonna work with the new camera. So we're gonna need to take that guy off too. All right, this part can be annoying. I actually just did the same thing yesterday for a friend, taking this thing off. I found that if we just pry open on it a little bit. Now that we got the hard plastic piece off, we're going to just start to work this actual sticky part. Oh man, that is beautiful. Man, I'm almost sad to lose the Vantor. Leave on that original Japanese badging. I'm not sure even what that says. It's probably like, do not go over 10 miles an hour on this truck. All right, so this wire is for the rear camera. I have it snaked up through here. It goes around. It goes around and around and around and then down through here and out the back. I even made a hole. It goes along the bed and I snaked it out through the trunk. I'm gonna show you how that looks later. Right now, we're gonna take and just figure out the placement of our new dash cam. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to proceed to install our hardwire kit. So I'm going to take apart our hardwire kit. See what we have. We have, first of all, instructions, because instructions are always great, especially if you use them. You have a few different fuse adapters. This is going to take and enable you to plug in whatever is a native fuse in the fuse box, along with the dash cam fuse. The pry tool, you can't ever have too many pry tools. And lastly, this will be the actual power unit. Ooh, okay. I'm already a little excited. This is embarrassing. Usually I don't get excited this easily. So what I like and what got me excited is we actually have a display on here. Oh, that's great. And you can even be switching between different voltage. All right, well, this is definitely quite a bit more thorough. This will be the power side, so this side will be up here. I'm gonna run it the same way, running through the roof where it's here and then running down. And this is just gonna connect on bottom. All right, so we started. We're gonna just throw the cable up here. Generally, I always like to leave myself a little extra room. I could probably pop this open and have the wire come through there. That's in case I ever actually make the jump and get myself a visor for my passenger. Not the craziest idea. We're gonna start off easy, just feeding him in. Here, their little pry tool will be adequate. I'm not even gonna get out my big guns. I've got a nice little panel kit that I've just been enjoying. All right, so right now what I want to do is I want to try to get the wire underneath this gasket that we have for the windshield. These little rubber gaskets that go around the windshield, around doors, have been a go-to of mine anytime I install a dash cam. I don't think just mine by any means. I think a lot of people have grown quite used to using them. All right, I think we're gonna just get this handle out of the way. Crazy, 26-year-old truck, but still every bolt comes out without any real struggle, any real negotiating. So here I just continue running the wires, being that Sambar doesn't have a lot of paneling covering the pillars or a lot of hidden spaces. I'm going right along that gasket on the windshield. It's tight, but you can fit a wire in there. I'm gonna go down the side all the way down until I get to where the dashboard is. Dashboard, there's that cover for your brake fluid reservoir, I believe it is. I snake it through there, and then I can go down, fish it out by where the steering column comes out, getting closer to my fuses, to the power. All right, that's through there. Now our power cables are ready to be connected on the bottom, so we can proceed with that. ACC is just going to be for electrical. We can get off the cigarette lighter, a USB port, or a radio. My car does not have heated seats. Center console, I'm not going to touch the ECU just because I'm not feeling brave. And then in that case, the yellow wire goes to the OBD, tailgate trailers, airbags, center lock. I don't think I have any of those. If there is no suitable permanent electrical connection, connect the yellow B wire to a positive terminal on the battery. Why didn't you say so? So this guy is going to be just our constant power. And this guy is going to be confirming with it when the car is on, when it's off. And the grounding wire, the black wire, goes to any kind of ground. So if you're wondering which fuse is going to be operating what is for ACC, what is for regular power, and your fuse box isn't particularly helpful, it's in a separate language, or even worse, once you run it through Google Translate, that the fuses don't match up, oddly enough. I'm not sure why that is. We'll figure it out on a future date. Get yourself a power probe. Connect the power probe to your battery, positive to positive, negative to negative. This little alligator clip is going to go to a negative connection somewhere. So I'm just going to go off this bolt that I have hanging off of my ground wire. And what we could do, if we take and just turn it off, take the keys out, I can check the head of any fuse and see whether it's getting power or not. Negative, meaning it's not getting power. Okay, let's keep going down the line. Negative. All right. Let's say we go here on this fuse. Boom. Positive. So meaning now with the car off, not getting any electrical, this is a positive fuse. It is hot. So if I wanted to be putting in my constant power, I could connect it to that fuse. So that's how I would know where to feed it into. And in the same way for ACC, I would get my keys. I would turn to the car to the on position, so the electrical system is on, and then afterwards I can go through, and of course all the ones that we tried previously now are showing positive. So then I already look which one of them works for me, and I would use that one. Then once we have it all wired up, we connect the power to it, and if I turn on the accessories, right now the engine is not on, just the electrical, we see it starts to get power. It's going to have its boot up song. It's going to take a few seconds. I haven't installed the rear yet, so we don't have that. And there we go. It's live. It's getting a good steady supply of power.
and I can rely on it. And if I go to shut it off also, how the camera knows to shut off properly is it feels that the accessory goes off, disconnect ACC, it triggers off, but I have a G sensor on it, so God forbid it does get hard enough hit, it still has access to the battery to come on and record whoever hit me. This also gives me peace of mind. I really recommend, it's a great approach, especially if you want to be getting the most function out of your dash cam.
So when we're going to be running the rear camera, the best way I found, and I don't know, every K-Truck is unique, so maybe you'll find something better with your K-Truck. What I did on my K-Truck was I drilled a small hole where my back wall was. I had a little rubber piece that I made a makeshift little grommet out of, and then I just ran the cable going all the way to my engine access latch. We're gonna call it a latch. This thing, which again, really great. It makes it easy to get at your engine. And I just snaked it through where I had my gasket come apart, because the gasket that came with it, small segment that you see right here, didn't have gasket. So I used that to pinch my camera wire. Now this is for my old camera. So we're going to take off the old camera now and run the cable for the new one. I gotta be honest, looking at it now in hindsight, I'm really proud of the work I did. Came out pretty good. All right, 4 screws. And we just give it a little bit of love, and it comes right open. I had this little bit of a hole on the other side it was taken, so I utilized it for my dash cam. I just zip tied it in there because, I'll be honest, that was the easiest approach. I'm throwing this out. That guy out. Now I'm gonna just see about how I can get that wire out of here. So finally we got the wire out of there. This was again for the old dash cam. I actually had to take and file down as much as I could just to squeeze it through. So we'll see how much of that we're gonna do for the new one. So in theory now. So my makeshift grommet was a piece of hose, like a fuel hose. You know, I'm not embarrassed about that. It held up ridiculously well. So that's a win in my book. This will be our physical camera that we're going to put out back. Honestly, I'm probably going to go for the same spot. I really love what Redtiger's doing these days. They're moving ahead with not only design, accessibility, functionality, the overall packaging, how easy it is to identify everything. So let's pop it open, let's see what they give us. And as long as this can stretch, can make that run, because it is a pretty long run. The only thing we need to really worry about, not that we need to worry about it, is if we can make it through that weird hole I made. Worst case, if we can't, we're gonna have to expand it. The biggest question in all of this, we're gonna start right there. So first of all, we wanna strain the wire out a bit. Easy. Now, it doesn't really look like there's a difference between what end goes where. That little hole that you're seeing, that's the hole that we're gonna be shooting for, right there. All right, let's see if we can make it. Not that I wanna do this, but when I tried to put it through, it was just getting chipped in a little bit. And I remember last time it was a similar fight. So all we're gonna do, we're just gonna shave off some of this plastic bit, the housing around the USB-C connector. All right, now if we go back to that hole, boom, there we go. And now all we're gonna do is we're just gonna map out how much length I need in the front. So my camera woman and brilliant assistant is moving backwards. She has the cable in her hand. Now we know how much length we need. I'm gonna reinstall my makeshift little grommet. I'm just gonna wanna wire him in the same way he was. I believe I had him going behind this bracket. I wanna just draw the wire through as much as I can. Excellent. Now here we have it held in. We keep it trailing up. I'm just gonna follow the clips that I had for the previous dash cam. And if you didn't have these clips here because you're not a genius like me who's rewiring it a second time, you get the same kind of clips. That's what these guys have. So Redtiger and a lot of manufacturers, they're ready, understand that this is gonna be a very possible situation. Maybe not this exact one with a K-Truck, but generally this could be something that you need to get yourself a mounting point where there is none. I bought some aftermarket clips that the adhesive on them is crazy strong, and I love them. The seat, I'm gonna slide back. Oh wow, look at that, a whole 3 inches of move. And here I'm going for the headliner. So I'm gonna just snake it in. And really this part is fairly easy. I didn't need any kind of pride, so a little bit of congestion right there. All right, we made it around that choke point. Gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. And right around here. All right, it looks like we're a little bit tight. So I'm gonna take, and now starting from where we are outside, feed through. You see how I'm doing? I just fed through a few more inches. There we go. And now I'm gonna feed this up the line. There we go, we can see my slack is coming to save the day. That's what happens when you only measure once. And then you rerun twice. All right, and there we go. We have some extra length. And now, we can plug it in. Let's actually change the orientation of our power cable. Let's go that way. Because the rear cam one comes in flat like that. Okay. Really, that was the hardest part. Now the last part is just getting the rear camera connected to that cable we ran and just making sure we have the image, we have it positioned in the way that we want it to. I'm excited, I hope you are too. We're almost done. Now we have the wire running along here. When I have the black cover on, the black rubber mat is going to just weigh it down. All right, we don't have as much length as we did with the old one, but I don't really see that being an issue. When I remember, we dropped in around here. Then I snaked behind this tube right here, maybe a vacuum hose. And then I had the cable run along this mounting. It's kind of a shroud for a wire. So we're gonna snake it through all the way. And by through, I mean we're gonna go underneath, like that. Things are a little tight in this area, and that's exactly what we're looking for. But this wire I want to be inside of this housing, this tunnel that we have. Okay, just gonna pull it closer. And here. We're gonna get our camera. Now the camera I'm already gonna connect up, just like that. This is gonna be the adhesive. I'm gonna definitely use that, but first things first, I just wanna position it and figure out if the camera should be with the red adhesive to the right side of it or opposite to the left. Because I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but half the time I get it wrong. All right, so this really helps if you have a second person. If not, you can totally do it yourself. But I have a second person with me. If we're gonna have it, we'll start off like this. And let's see if we can just jimmy it into space for the time being. All right? So the general question is, if the adhesive is to the right before we stick it to the back, are we looking right side up or wrong side down?
Now this is exactly what we wanted to avoid. Boom. All right, so right now my wife is positioning for us, and as we can see, she is upside down. This is why you always want to sample out where it's at before you install it. So I want to have it the other way, and furthermore, when I do position it, I'm going to ask her to sit inside. She's going to tell me if the head should be higher, lower, make sure I get the best field of view. But so far, I do like how it looks. It looks very clean, it looks very crisp. Just a little fine tuning left to do.
And last bit, I recommend make sure we
secure any loose wires. So last thing we want to do is wondering why our rear camera isn't recording anymore, because remember, this is the engine compartment. So right, this is the actual block. It's gonna heat up, it's gonna get hot. This is your exhaust manifold. So just make sure your wires are nowhere in range of that. Cars move, they bounce, they get swayed, maybe you drift them, you know yourself best. Anyway, make sure if you do any of those things that your wires are not gonna get compromised.
All right, getting ready to put this big boy back on. Just gonna feed him on hand tight. All right, and now we get our massive heavy mat, and we just want to situate that throughout. I congratulate you, you are all done with your K-Truck dash cam installation.
Nice.
For me, it's my three-way F17 Redtiger Elite. I really love how it looks. The image quality on that is great. The accessibility, the functionality. Still getting used to how the Wi-Fi works, but to be honest, it's gonna be the first time I actually use Wi-Fi. I've had it on a ton of cameras before, I've just never used it. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please drop in the comments. We'll be glad to help you make your Sambar exactly how you want it.